Hey guys, it's Alyssa.
And it's Danny.
And we're Christian Connections. So today's video, as you can tell by the title, is about being grateful and happy with what you have.
Yeah. So just kind of to start off the video, we want to make sure you guys are giving credit to where it's deserved, and usually that's to him. One of the biggest things is like when things, we should say is when people are the most grateful or when they turn to him the most is when things are going really good and they've hit a high point and they're like, yes, thank you so much for all of these things you've given me, that's really great. Or when things are really bad and they're constantly like asking him questions and asking him for things and stuff like that. But our question kind of for the day is, what about in the middle? When things aren't necessarily going bad, but it's not like they're a huge high point in your life. It's just kind of average life. Are you grateful for the small things in everyday life, you know, that maybe sometimes we take for granted? So yeah, that's kind of the big topic of the day.
So to kind of add on to that and to give you a little more like depth of an example, we found two places in the Bible, and there's so many more, but just like these two places that really kind of help define it. And Psalms is really good for like people's prayers and stuff, and you can kind of see like, oh, here's their high point, and they're just like really happy and thankful. And so we're going to start off with Psalms 21, 1 through 7, and this is kind of like a really high point. Him just like praising God.
Okay, it says, In your strength the king rejoices, O Lord, and in your help how greatly he exults. You have given him his heart's desire, and have not withheld the request of his lips. For you met him with rich blessings. You set a crown of fine gold on his head. He asked you for your life, you gave it to him. Length of days forever and ever. His glory is great through your help. Splendor and majesty you bestow on him. You bestow on him blessings forever. You make him glad with the joy of your presence. For the king trusts in the Lord, and through the steadfast love of the Most High he shall not be moved.
So like when the Lord is just showing you so much love and favor and like mercy and grace, you're like, yes, thank you, thank you. Like, it's just so easy to be like, yes. And that's a really good thing. You really should be thankful. And that's, I guess that's a good thing. But then on the other side of it, when you're in like a really low point, I think it kind of depends on like how far you are in your faith. It starts out like, oh, it's so easy to be happy when things are going well. And then it's kind of like, oh, but I need to be happy when things are going bad too. And so this is kind of a little glimpse into like praising him even when things aren't going well. So this is Psalm 25, 1 through 10.
And it says, To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. O my God, in you I trust. Do not let me be put in shame. Do not let my enemies exalt over me. Do not let those who wait for you be put to shame. Let them be ashamed who are wantonly treacherous. Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all day long. Be mindful of your mercy, O Lord, and of your steadfast love, for they have been from old. Do not remember the sins of my youth or my transgressions. According to your steadfast love, remember me, for your goodness' sake, O Lord. Good and upright is the Lord. Therefore he instructs sinners in the way. He leads the humble in what is right, and teaches the humble his way. All the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness, for those who keep his covenant and his decrees.
So like that, it's kind of like using that like praise and stuff as your anchor, just saying like, okay, I know you're good, but this is not good right now, and I'm just like trusting in you. So that's a really good time to be thankful as well. And it can really be hard to try and be thankful in those times. It's like everything is just going so bad. You just need to take a moment to like, okay, look around and be like, but I have this, and I need to just be really grateful for what I have. And one big kind of like truth about it is realizing that without the bad times, it's really hard to be thankful for the good times.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, if it's always, let's say sunny. It's always sunny outside.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, thank you for the sun. But it's like, So it's like when it's rainy and then the sun comes out, it's like, oh, yes. That makes it a lot easier. So kind of seeing that balance with them.
And, like, just, like, some people think of the rain as a bad thing, but, I live in Utah, as you guys know, and we don't get very much rain. And so when it rains, it's usually a good thing. So, just kind of, like, yes, the sun is good too, but make sure even the things where, no, you can't go ride your bike outside in the middle, well, I guess you could, but, you know, just, make sure, like, even those things where you might not necessarily think they're good, they could, be really good to someone else, or they're good in their own way, like, without the rain, flowers don't grow and stuff like that. So, even those, like, bad points, they are useful and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, so now,
so that's another kind of thing when you're being grateful, make sure you're kind of putting it in the right light. There's this little example, a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but the people that do go on mission statements or mission trips, they, one of the things they always say is, I was so happy that, or I was so grateful that I got to serve God in that kind of way. But maybe look at it a little differently and say, I'm grateful that God gave me the opportunity to serve Him. Because I think sometimes we're like, I did this all by myself. I chose to do this. I raised all the money and stuff like that. But really, He gave you that opportunity and that that chance to do that for Him. So maybe just kind of watch where you're putting your gratefulness and watch how you phrase things sometimes, and make sure you're always keeping Him in mind and with the opportunities you are given.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a controversial thing. Like, I know some Christians are like, pray before every meal, you know, and other ones are like, or other people are like, what? Like, I got this food for myself. Like, I bought this at the grocery store. I worked for the money to get it from the grocery store. But realizing that, like, He made this grow, which fed this animal, which gave you that food. Like, it's a long cycle, and realizing, like, kind of taking a step back and looking at it in that way, realizing that it's not you. Yes, you did work for it, and that's important.
Yeah.
But at the same time, realizing that it's not all you. Like, seeing how His hand kind of plays in that.
Yeah, that's really important. So, yeah, just that, and, we realized that this is kind of a kind of popular topic, maybe. A lot of people want and work towards this, but it can kind of be hard, and we just kind of wanted to give you a few key things that might help you being more grateful and putting, you know, thanking Him in the best way possible. So.
Yeah, it's always so easy to say, like, oh, I want to be more grateful, you know? And maybe it's kind of like, this is a really bad analogy, but, like, for people who, like, want to lose weight, it's like, I want it, but
I also want it.
I'll work for it a little bit, but not that much. Like, you do have to, like, work for it, but then as you get going, it becomes easier.
Yeah.
So, we want to leave you with a couple of, like, tips, as she said,
yeah.
of, like, some things that you could read or do that is really going to help you kind of improve your strength in being grateful.
Yeah.
So the first one, which is a book that I found, that is really, really good. It's kind of, I don't want to say a harder read, but it takes a bit more thinking, kind of. It's like one of those that just has so much truth in it that it's like, you can't read. You gotta, like, just
take it slow and absorb all of the information being given to you.
Yeah. And that is 1,000 Gifts by Ann Boskamp, and I'll link it in the box below of, like, where you can find it and stuff. It's a really good book, and it's all about realizing how much, when you're thankful and grateful for things, how much joy comes from that.
Yeah.
And it's not like saying, like, I don't know, when something really good happens, being like, yes, thank you. It's more like, when you wake up and seeing the sunlight on your bedroom floor, you can be like, oh, it's sunny, and just being like really happy
small
for
things.
them. Yes,
Yeah.
really small things. And she also has some tips in there of how you can kind of become stronger with it and why you should. So if you're interested, I definitely suggest that you check out 1000 Gifts by Ann Voskamp. She also has a blog, which I'll link down below, that you guys can check out as well.
Yeah. Another big one is to find a mentor or someone who either has a really good grasp on how to be how to be grateful and how, they apply it to their everyday life, or someone who has the same goal. Sometimes it's just as useful to find someone who doesn't necessarily have that skill mastered, but they want it just as much as you, because then you're both going through those everyday motions and you're seeing what things can help both of you and at the same time. So just trying to find someone who you can go to and ask questions, go to when you're having like a, I don't know how to do this anymore. Just find that one person that really helps you, and that's a really big tool. And it doesn't have to be, it could be like someone on YouTube who you just watch their videos, or it could be just someone, maybe your mom or your teacher, or someone who already has that kind of down that you can talk to on a daily basis. Just try to find that person, whoever it is for you.
Like, in comparison to a person, like, you can be around, like, all your friends, and yeah, they're really great. Nothing against your friends. I'm not saying don't be friends with them. But, like, sometimes when you're around people that just, like, aren't as happy, and sometimes life is just like that. But, like, having that person, even if it's just one person to go to, that can really help you keep you on pace with it, I think.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
And then our last little tip is like creating a gratitude journal. And there's lots of different ways you can do this. There's ones that you can buy at like Target that actually are like templated, and you just fill in like the answers. Or you can just buy a blank journal and you can just say like, today I am thankful for this. And or you could just like write out your whole day. You could write out a list, like 5 things. I know there was a while where we would come up with 5 things and text it to each other, like, just kind of keep it upbeat and like realizing like how much joy that can bring you when you work towards it.
And like she was saying, there's so many different formats. Find what fits you. If you're someone who's always on the computer, get a Word document or something and just every day do whatever you think will help you. Or if you like writing in notebooks, do that. Or if you like the template version. There's so many different options. Don't let like the idea of one thing stop you, because there's so many different ways you can do it.
And then lastly, like kind of I know there's like challenges. Ann Voskamp has an online challenge, and like for every day of the month she has like find 3 like one that I remember is like curly things. So like you're like looking for curly things, it's like, oh, I'm thankful for that. It kind of helps you to like become more aware of your surroundings as well, and then also just be like, what, like realizing like, what if I didn't have that? Like how thankful you are with that. One of the quotes that I've seen as like a decoration, like house decor, is like, what if you woke up tomorrow morning with only the things that you thanked God for, like, yesterday? And that kind of gets you thinking about, like, oh.
The small things, yeah, 100%.
And it's not just like, oh, like, I want to be more thankful, For him, it brings you so much more joy.
It does,
Seeing, like, oh, I'm happy for this, I'm happy for this. You're focusing on the positives rather than the negatives, and it just, I don't know, it takes your mind into a whole new, like, way
level
of
looking.
thinking. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. And we hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Yeah, we hope this video is one of those things that helps as well. Yeah.